Welcome to AI for Growth, Lessons from Leaders. I'm your host, Megan Driscoll. AI for Growth is a podcast that demystifies AI for business owners. Each episode features conversations with leaders who share their experiences, covering the good, the bad, and the ugly of AI implementation. We aim to help businesses understand how and where AI can effectively scale your operations, focusing on practical insights rather than just hype. Welcome. Welcome to AI for Growth Lessons from Leaders. Today I have Philip Cripe joining me, which I'm super excited to have this conversation. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your business. Introduce yourself to the audience.
So I grew up between the US and France and got into technology in 2015. Been running businesses ever since then in that sphere specifically. Done a lot of consulting, a lot for blockchain companies, but also we did some machine learning back in the day before it was called AI by everyone.
Yeah.
So
The fancy new name.
yeah, just reusing the wording that was used for something else before.
Exactly. And tell me about your most recent project. What are you working on right now?
Right now, I'm working on a platform. It's kind of like a reviews platform, but if companies sign up, the main goal is for them to see if they're easily discoverable by LLMs and if
Yeah.
their reputation is actually really good on LLMs.
Cool. Excellent. Okay, so tell me a little bit about, tell me about the startup. I mean, this podcast is designed for small businesses. So if you can talk a little bit about the startup phase. Like, what were the things you struggled with? What were some of the bottlenecks? What were some of the issues?
So I hadn't done software development myself for several years because back in 2019, I actually moved to Ukraine. I was a full stack web developer, webmaster in France. And then I moved to Ukraine and found out that in a year they had learned more than I had in like 6.
Wow.
And they could be in their 50s and and be better at code than I was. So I ended up taking a back seat to coding and getting more involved in
Can we
sales and
pause on that
business.
for a second? Why
Yeah.
is that?
So it's part of their culture. They have an engineering mindset as part of their own culture and the way their language works. So when they're faced with a problem, instead of trying to be philosophical about it like the French, they try to actually get into a solution. Like one of my neighbors' wheelbarrow broke, and he came back after soldering it back together, and it was like 3 times stronger. And just a guy in a village, just a random guy. So they all have these skills. It's crazy.
Hmm.
It's
It's
problem
interesting.
solving.
Problem
Yeah.
solving skills. I love that as a culture. How
Yeah, it's
cool.
like an engineering culture. It's crazy.
Yeah,
Don't
that's neat.
invade engineers. They'll make drones in their backyard.
Yeah.
This is what everybody else found out after I already knew after meeting their software developers. There was a lead developer I met the first week I was there, and I was really impressed. And I asked the owner of the company, who was French, like, where'd you find this guy? He told me a year ago this guy was a mason.
No way.
And he was in his 50s and switched from building brick walls by hand to coding, back end, front end, everything.
Wow.
It's
That's really
crazy.
cool.
Yeah. So that was an interesting experience. And then from there, I hadn't actually touched code again myself until about 2 months ago. I think it was after the first time um, we ran into each other on LinkedIn about AI.
Yeah.
Actually, I hadn't coded yet for years. And then I started using Claude Code because of this project specifically. I was wondering what technology to use for LLMs to see something as legitimate. And it turns out the more difficult the technology is,
And just for our audience, describe what an LLM is because
it's
they
a
may not
large
know.
language model like ChatGPT or Claude AI, or there are a lot of them right now. And they all have their kind of quirks and specialties. Like
So basically what you are developing is a process by which companies can be found within the
and they
I,
can find out what they're doing wrong or what they can do more to be more easily discoverable, kind of like SEO, search engine
yeah.
optimization with
I'm trying to
Google
make
was
it so that
before.
people
Yeah, yeah,
understand, like,
yeah. Of
so if
course, of course.
SEO
So
is to website, the LLM is to
the large language models,
AI.
the AIs, because the
Exactly.
AIs scrape websites differently than Google does. Now, Google also uses Gemini to some extent to do it.
Yeah.
So even that's important. And I was actually shocked to see that when we were targeting these large language models to get to find out how well to be discoverable and have a high reputation, we ended up really high on Google as well. For example, I made a website, and within 2 days, it was on the first page for certain keywords on
So,
Google.
so do you think that's because? So why do you think that is?
I think that's because they're also going down the LLM model more than they were going down the SEO model.
I
So
think
right
this is a
now you
really
can get
so
ahead.
this is a really important conversation to have, and this is why I was excited to have you because
Yeah.
I don't think people are making any connection to that. Like we're not thinking about SEO for
Yeah,
AI.
no. That's why it's like I'm using it in a completely different way than most people. And it's
Yeah.
because I've been talking with marketing companies, and they've noticed that if you get a lot of reviews, say on Trustpilot or Good Firms or these sites that nobody's cared about for 10 years because they used to be really good for search engine optimization, backlinks, and all these sort of things. If you get back into that and you have, say, somebody who adds a review for your company every month, and it's a good review, LLMs will notice that and consider your company to be still running, to be still getting users, to have good feedback, and it makes your company seem reliable. And so they'll cite these sites.
Okay. So this is okay. So I really want to dig into this because I think this is really like again like a game changer for small businesses. So what you're saying is kind of like the old is now new, essentially.
Yeah,
What we
it's
what
back
we
again.
it's back again. It's back in fashion,
What
right?
used to work is working again. And
Right.
for
We
how
did wear
long we
bell
don't
bottoms
know.
and then we wore them again.
Exactly. It's kind of like, yeah, it's kind of like fashion.
Yeah, it is kind of like fashion. Okay, so what you're saying is that um AI and our the big models, Chat, Claude, whatever, or Grok, whatever you're using,
Yeah, yeah.
essentially, is essentially it does have its own SEO system,
In a
right?
way, yeah.
In a
Yeah.
way.
Sometimes we
And
call it AEO, but yeah, it's the same
okay,
thing.
and it's searching both its other AI as well as websites and all of these what were previously determined as like they used to be important but they're not so important now.
Yeah, they used to be considered important signals for your business.
And then they
And
kind of
they are
fell
again.
out of
Kind of
favor.
like having a good Yelp page or something.
Yeah.
It
Okay.
used to be a really good way to be discovered as a small business. Like you're a small restaurant somewhere and people leave
Yeah.
good reviews on Yelp or on Google Maps, and it helps people find you when they're looking. And so this is kind of working the same way, except instead of that, you're typing in perplexity like I want to find a good like hot dog stand or whatever it is in my
Yeah.
city. And it'll bring the one up that has the best reviews and that fits what it thinks is what you're asking for. So it's a
So
bit more intelligent, and it goes back to the way it used to work when people were thinking up the algorithms.
yeah.
Uh,
Interesting. So for a small business, what should they be thinking about in terms of like what are those places that they should go back through and say, okay, I really need to go back to these specific websites and make sure that I'm like keeping up on them again if I had gotten away from it. What's your
well, well,
suggestion?
a lot of companies have forgotten, and
Yeah.
I was doing a lot of this research with Yaros Belkin, who's like one of the top marketing specialists, specifically in Web3. Like he's been around longer than Ethereum was well known and things like that in the blockchain industry, and so he knows all these people as well. But he was doing a bit of research and playing around with this, and he managed to get his marketing company as a top development company in Hong Kong within 2 days of just asking a friend or two to put some reviews on there. So it's been left alone for so long that it doesn't take a lot of energy and discipline to get it to work for
Got
a
it.
small business. You
Yeah.
can really get ahead of the big names. Like Hong Kong's a huge city with lots of development firms. And so we're finding this out. We were expecting things to take months. Instead, they're taking days.
Wow.
So we're seeing a return on the time we're spending on it, which is kind of like a return on investment in a different way, because most of this stuff is free to use.
So cool.
Right.
So okay.
So for
So
small businesses, this is great.
yeah. Okay. So let's go through it. So like Yelp, like
Yeah.
TripAdvisor, like
TripAdvisor, if you're a
Google
restaurant or a
reviews, like
hotel.
where can give us a
Um,
list?
so Trustpilot works really well.
Okay.
Funnily enough, Reddit works really well
So
for
I'd like to talk
getting
about Reddit
found.
if you know anything about it,
I
because I
so
think that's an
yeah.
untapped market.
it is, and it's also very strange to do things correctly on Reddit.
Hmm.
So if you're going to do something on Reddit, I'd take time to figure out what you want to do and do some research first,
Yep.
because as a platform, even though I've been using it more or less for years, I still don't understand what the best way to use Reddit is
Yeah.
for a business.
Yeah.
Like if it's
I
setting up
agree.
your own page or if it's commenting on others, or I'm still not sure what the best practice is for that.
Okay. All right. So we went back. So we're doing Yelp, TripAdvisor, Trustpilot, Reddit. What else?
Good firms, the BBB
Okay.
is actually really good for AI. I love that stuff.
What about
Design
like
Rush,
stuff on Meta? Like if people put reviews on your Facebook page or your
that can help. But the easier it is to put a review, we've noticed this with our research, is the sites where it's easier to put a review without verifying who you are,
yeah,
etc., the less valuable it is for LLMs.
got it.
So, for example, I tried to give a friend of mine's company a review on Clutch. They didn't allow me to do it. They even refused to answer a support call about it. And so their reviews are worth a lot because it's hard to do. Or the
Okay.
ones where you have to sign in as a business and then leave a review for another business. I'm not sure if it's the one, but I'm thinking of like G2 as one example that's a little harder, I think, or Design Rush. Those are more difficult to set up and leave a review.
Yeah.
Those are valued more by LLMs.
Okay. That's interesting to know. And in terms of are they all like for example, is this optimization that someone would be doing it's not specific to either like Claude or Chat or
No,
whatever.
it works for all of them to a certain degree. Some of them will value some things more than others. Like they're weighted differently depending
Okay.
on the platform. But Grok and Perplexity, for example, will agree on what the main things to look at to see if a company is not a scam,
Okay.
which is fascinating.
Yeah. Well, they're just deciding in the back end
Yeah,
whether,
but it seems like it goes beyond like it's a logical kind of setup. I'm not even sure the people that made these platforms necessarily made it so this is what you're going to believe is legitimate.
yeah, I mean, well,
I'm not sure they trained them that way. I think they
could it
kind
be
of trained
weaponized
themselves.
to take down an organization?
So if a company is lying about things, that can be really quickly picked up.
Mhm.
Also, LLMs are really quick, and like I talked about Yoss Belkin earlier, but he did a research on this because he's been attacked using some of this stuff.
Mhm.
LLMs tend to take everything at face value. So if five different people write an article saying something bad about your company, it'll pick it up and say it's legitimate, even if those people are anonymous on platforms where it takes 3 seconds to sign up and create the article. It's trying to be neutral,
Got it. Okay.
which I've seen the media fail at, because trying to be neutral, sometimes you give a voice to something that's not true.
Yeah,
Like
100%.
this side
Okay.
says this side says that. And if you're journalistically, you have any integrity, you'll add that what this side is saying isn't, backed by any facts, for
Yeah.
example.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So,
That's
so,
interesting.
so LLMs, they've tried to train them to be as neutral as possible in that sense. So they don't necessarily do that. So you have to, when you're doing a search on a company, it's good to tell them um, to check that things are verified, like it's been to court or something like that. It's not
Mhm.
just um, what's the word? A kind of rumor that's being spread.
Yeah, because
It's not
you could
defamation,
get rumor
basically.
basically is what
Yeah,
you're
yeah, yeah.
saying. It's very easy to get rumor. Okay, so if I'm a small business and, I wanna cash in on this opportunity, right, to like,
Yeah,
you know, like, how would I go about doing it? Is there like a checklist? Is there like how would I go about doing it?
that's basically what I built. That's why
Yeah. Okay, so tell me
I'm
about what
trying.
you built as it
So
relates to and wait, back up. Before we talk about
I'm
how you built
trying not to like push it too much, but
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
that's basically the idea I came to, is what you just came to as like a logical end
Yeah,
result of all this, is like,
right.
so what can I do to know that I'm actually hitting all the boxes? And
Yeah.
that's what I'm building right now. It's not all the boxes yet, but it's the main ones.
Yep.
And one of the things you can do is make sure that your website's up online all the time,
Mhm.
that it's as old as possible, basically. The older your website, the more it's seen as a real company that's been around for a while, and that,
Hmm.
if people have used it that long and it hasn't gone out of business, then it's
Yeah.
probably doing something right.
Yeah.
Is That's the basic thing just of having a website. A lot of companies used to say I need to have a website just so people think I'm legitimate.
Yeah.
We're back to that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
it's,
Because it's
it's
taking
funny, it's
into
gone full
consideration.
circle. It's a lot
Yeah.
of things that 15 years ago businesses were like, oh, I need to do this, and it seemed natural, and it's been kind of left to the side, like, oh, if you have a Facebook page, it's fine.
Yeah.
um, it went to that after a while, and now it's back to your company is not seen as legitimate by the large language models if it's only a Facebook page or something like that.
Okay.
And there is a speaking of sites, there's also a kind of a how reliable a company is viewed as based on where their website is. Wix being very low, for example,
Okay.
and having a site built on Next.js on for sale being seen as really, which is very difficult. I found out. So
So
that's
what
why
are
I've
the
been building
good
it.
what are the like a Squarespace? Is that legitimate? Like what's the
It's
legitimate?
more than Wix, which is interesting. So you can actually ask any LLM at any given time, which seems more legitimate to you, my site on this platform or on this platform, and it'll tell you. There are no like secrets here. You can literally ask every question about this, and you can brainstorm this with your favorite large language model and figure it out within 10 minutes, like what you need to do. So that's kind of fun.
Can you okay, so talk to me a little bit about this. Okay, so I wanna go and do my checklist. I come to your what's the name of your company again? What's the
So our website is Belkin.marketing. So
Belkin dot
Belkin dot marketing. And on so it's not the same website as the Belkin marketing website. It's one we made specifically for this because he had the domain name.
Yep.
And it was actually a really funny conversation because he was talking to me about how crazy it was that all this stuff was working with large language models when he would, like when I talked about in Hong Kong and stuff, where all of a sudden he ends up at the top of the list for something that's extremely secondary for his business
Yeah.
just because he got 2 reviews. And so we were talking about this, and he was talking about how all these reviews sites have all these old things that don't make sense. If your main target is LLMs, like they're not completely scrapable, maybe the information gets picked up wrong. Not everything's in one place. You have to go to all these different places to find out if they're actually. You have to set up an account and test it to see if it actually works.
Mhm.
Whereas if you find out it works, we can just add it to a list and say, hey, we're checking this website to see if you have an account there and you have reviews and you're answering reviews and all these different things. And then when we check that, we see that you're more or less legitimate in the eyes of AI. And so
So
we basically built a checklist of this, and we
okay.
give a score through an algorithm based on this that says, yeah, you have an account on Trustpilot, you have an account here, you have an account there.
And so
And
that
then
and then that's just helpful because you can say, "Okay, well,
yeah,
I don't have, so now I'm gonna go and do that."
and then you see that yeah, like your points are really low because don't have an account on any of these things.
Yep.
You don't have another sign, which is interesting, is your business having a verified address in Google Maps or Bing or Apple Maps,
Okay.
which is actually really hard to get.
Is it?
It's actually really annoying. and
Huh.
and and a friend of mine had a company which he had on Google for years, and it just got deleted somehow by accident. And he's trying to get it back, and it's been months.
Oh my gosh. So if I go to this website, your
Hmm.
website, Belkin dot marketing, I can
Yeah,
actually put in my you're gonna ask me a series of questions. I'm gonna put in this information. It's gonna
yeah,
shoot me back a
uh,
score
yeah, instantly.
instantly, and it's gonna specifically tell me, like, "You need," and then will it tell me I need to go do these things, or, like, how does that work?
So you'll see in the list that you only got a certain amount of points, and it'll explain what things you have that got you those points. And so basically everything else, because when you fill it out, you'll see that I ask you for the map location,
Yeah.
ask you for a Trustpilot account, and things like that, and it goes down the list. Your website, because that way we can check how old your website is and all the who is information on it and all that sort of thing. So we try not to get too technical because that could take a while.
Yeah.
But then we give you a description of it, and some people got flagged as potentially illegally uh, gray businesses.
Mm.
And what's funny is the first one that happened to was actually a casino builder, like an
Oh,
online
okay.
casino builder. So it actually made sense. So
Yeah.
it's kind of working. So and the first thing we do isn't even using AI. We use a kind of a cron search to verify that the things that you put in basically are true.
Okay.
And then if you pay like $10, we go through and do an AI search on everything and make sure to get your scores on all those different parts. Like your score on these different reviews sites is
Yep.
one of the hardest ones to get, and
Well, you have to
try to
actually
get
take action there. I mean, you
yeah,
have to,
yeah,
right.
yeah. Because without using
But hold on.
a
I mean,
large language model, it's not an intelligent search in it.
right. But I mean, again, it's good. It's great for a small business to know this, right? Because to
Yeah,
then go say, like, I'm going to go put effort into something that I know is going to have a return on the investment,
right,
right?
exactly.
So it's like
And
you're
it's
not wasting your
yeah,
time.
yeah, and we're doing this thing where we've spent probably hundreds of hours figuring this out on our own.
Hmm.
So we're basically just asking for a one-time $10 lifetime thing just to pay for the AI searches
Yeah.
to and keep the hosting going.
Well, if you're up
And
for it,
then
I would like
yeah,
so what I'm gonna make a little proposition to you. I'm gonna go
yeah,
do this and then
yeah,
obviously sign up. And then I think we should do like a guinea pig. Like then how I'm gonna go try to do the things you tell me to do,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And we'll talk about this in a second. Do the optimization essentially. And then I want to have
mhm,
you back on and we can talk about what
yeah.
happened.
And you can tell me all the bugs you found.
Yeah, totally.
Because now I'm coding this, so I'm
Yeah.
the one to fix it. So
uh,
you get tech support right away.
Super. I love this for me. Um,
I like that.
So tell me again. Okay, so let's just walk through this because I do think this is a super cool just a
Yeah,
concept that people haven't thought. Number one, I don't think people are thinking about this. I
it's being
to be honest
forgotten a
with you,
lot.
I wasn't thinking about this, and I help companies implement AI. So I was not
Yeah,
thinking.
I saw like your post about it, and I was
Yeah,
like, I'm doing something a bit different. Like I like raised my hand in the back of the class, like you want to talk about something unusual? Let's do
yeah. But I think
it.
it's not unusual. It's just we haven't got
Yeah, we
there.
haven't thought of like, oh, LLMs react differently than
Yeah,
SEO.
yeah. I don't think anybody is putting those two things together. So the fact that you have is super cool.
Yeah, a
So
year
okay, so
ago, people wouldn't have been coding platforms like the one I coded with AI either. So things are moving really, really fast.
really, really fast. Exactly. I mean, that's the point of this podcast, right? Is to try to stay on top of things that affect small businesses. And this is like a really cool concept for a small business. So, okay, so just to walk through this. I go on, I submit my information, I pay you
Hmm.
$10. You then tell me all the things that I'm doing wrong, basically, and why I'm
Even
not
before the $10.
even before the $10. Okay.
That's just
So
to claim the account and do the AI search. Without the AI search, you can already see a lot of the things you're
things that I'm
probably
doing
doing
wrong.
wrong.
Okay.
I,
So
I
let's
don't
say
want to assume, but it's what I found out about my own business.
I'm
So
sure I'm doing a ton of things wrong. I'm sure.
I was
Okay.
like, I can't believe I'm like my reputation is terrible
Yeah.
online with these large language models.
Yeah.
So
Well, I
like my score is worse than a lot of the other businesses on there.
that's
And
interesting.
I've been working on this platform, so I haven't fixed all this stuff for my own
Yeah.
business yet. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I keep looking at it like, oh, I really need to do that.
Yeah. But I mean, again, if there was a return on the investment. So let's talk about that. So I go on, I do
Yeah.
this, and then you tell me essentially, I get like a list of things I have to go do. So now I go and I do them. Takes me what, like maybe 30 days to get through them all? Like, what's the time frame for someone
Okay,
to go and like
so
fix their profile or
so to
optimize?
entering the profile takes about 10 minutes of just copying and pasting your links of different things.
Okay.
And then going through and rebuilding the different things. You might need to ask previous clients to leave you reviews on different platforms and
Yep.
things like that. It's best not to have everybody go at once,
Yeah.
because it it's better for your reputation with LLMs if it's over a longer period of time.
Got it.
And so having 20 people put in reviews at once and then nothing for 3 months makes it look like your business had a lot of people at once and then none.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it actually makes it look worse than if you have a few a month, for example. So it's kind of an ongoing thing. And as you have new clients, I would imagine every once in a while, you can just naturally do this and ask
That's
them
right.
to leave
Yeah.
a
I mean, I
review.
think if people know that it's important and understand that there's going to be some return on the investment for doing it, then they
Absolutely.
just develop a process for that. Okay.
And
So let's say I do all of that, right? So I set up
yeah,
the things, I go back and fix any of the bugs that are in there. I make sure that my location is verifiable or whatever the things are that you
yeah,
tell me
all
to do.
those things. Yeah.
Yeah. how then do I optimize it? Like, how then can I, where's the verification process? Where's the, maybe you're not there yet in your development, but where is the thing that is like, oh, I'm number
So
one in Hong Kong kind
we
of
actually recheck
thing? Okay.
on a weekly basis. So actually more than that. Every 6 hours now. I updated it about 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
So every time it goes through and checks it again, your points will go up
Okay.
unless you got only 1-star reviews for a month or something like that. But other
Yep.
than that, it should go up. Generally, that's what we want, right?
Right. Right.
We don't want to get a worse reputation somehow, which I mean it's possible, but like I said, you'd have to get only 1-star reviews everywhere for it to really tank your we call it the reliability score.
Yep.
So that shouldn't be too hard in that sense. Like I said, just getting more reviews and
Sure.
getting things
But that
moving.
reliability
And
score, I'm trying to connect it to like revenue, right? Like,
right.
how do we know that doing it
So
actually
the
matters?
reason I know this is important is because not only does our actual website show up really quickly in the first 2 pages of search results on Google for your company.
Hmm.
I mean, within 2 days, we're in the top 2 pages. Within a week, we might be in the first page.
And what are the search terms for that? Your actual company name, or you're
So your
saying,
actual company name will show up ahead of everything else you've done
yeah,
almost immediately, which is crazy. Like normally, for example, if you have Yelp,
yep,
we might end up above Yelp
okay,
within 2 days. So we're doing something right.
yep, yep,
Because that's great. I did not expect that.
yeah.
Um, Even for my own business, I have lots of other accounts and places and things like that. And
Is there
then,
a way that you can optimize for the search terms that you want to show up under? Like,
well, so that's the beauty of it. Our site is extremely scrapable. I made it as LLM friendly as you possibly can,
hmm,
and so your business on there is extremely well searchable. And the words that you put in as the description of your business, the categories of business that you're in, will all help a lot. And then we have a ranking system. So if you're in the top, um, what kind of business do you have exactly? Just
well, so I'm a
consulting?
consultancy. I help small companies implement AI. So I'm kind of like the go between the
Okay.
bottleneck they're trying to solve and then the actual implementation. So, and I usually hold the tech stack too, so they don't have to deal with any of it. We're just kind of solving the
Oh, okay.
problem
That
for
makes a lot
them.
of sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I.
So for example, you'd put AI consultancy,
Hmm.
and you would enter your part of the world. Could be your city, your state, country, continent,
Yep.
and then it ranks all of those. So AI consultancies worldwide, you could end up in the top three,
Hmm,
and that sort of thing. And each one of those rankings is also scrapable by LLMs
got it.
and dated and archived based on that date. So every time you're in the top three for anything, it could be your city, as long as there are
Is there
two
a
other
benefit
companies doing the
to
same thing.
Is there a benefit to being smaller than larger? Like, as an example, is there a benefit to a company saying I'm just local, or does it not
There
matter?
is, in the sense that you end up on, well, it depends on where you are, I guess, because I found out that a lot of the biggest blockchain companies in the world have an office in one small town in Switzerland
Hmm.
as their headquarters.
Yeah.
So then you're you don't want to start a small Web3 consultancy company in the same city as Ethereum, Solana, like all these super big companies, for example. That'd be really strange. It's like trying to start a small civilian aviation club in the same city as Boeing.
Yeah.
And if they had a few other companies right there that do their logistics, they would end up higher based on the amount of reviews and everything else. But if you're in a town where, for example, you're the only AI consultancy or only one of three, it's a lot easier to find you then.
Yeah. So it would make sense for in my case to say Boston as an
Yeah,
example.
for example, yeah.
Like, not do like Massachusetts or United States, even though I can work anywhere. There would be a benefit to being.
Yeah. I didn't know you were in Massachusetts. I know
Yeah.
an AI company in Massachusetts actually
Oh, cool. Which one?
that One Touch.
Oh
Or
yeah, we were
sorry,
talking.
First Touch.
First
First
touch.
Touch.
First touch.
They help with LinkedIn sales
Yeah.
using AI.
Okay. Like
Like
scraping off the back end, or
understanding what the company is like and how to communicate with them, the personality type of the person you're the profile that you're on at any given time.
okay.
It's like a plugin in your browser kind of thing.
Oh,
It's
cool.
it's really cool.
first touch. I'll have people, that's a kind of a good tip.
I can put you in contact with their CEO
Yeah, cool.
if you want.
I would love that. Yeah. I actually do a lot with LinkedIn, obviously, and
Yeah.
advocate, that's one of the, I use Sales Navigator quite a bit for finding leads. And then I use Scrap.io for pulling the leads off, which
Oh, okay.
is,
Yeah.
yeah. And LinkedIn is actually really finicky. It's one of my least favorite to work with because of
Yeah.
you can only get 1,000 on a list. And it's just really, it's not
Yes.
like Apollo, which is super easy to get names and pull lists. You can pull a list of 30,000 people super easy. Whereas it's not that way with LinkedIn. It's so finicky. So if there's anybody that knows anything about how to make it easier, I would love to talk to them because it's
Yeah.
not easy.
So I'll put you in contact with Jared. He's really cool.
I would love that. Yeah, I'll have lunch with
Yeah.
them. We're local. Perfect.
Yeah, I know. That's crazy. I didn't
It is
realize you were in
crazy.
the same
Yeah,
like
it's
area.
awesome. I would love
You're
that.
probably within driving distance.
I'm everything here
I've
is
never met him in person. I've known him for years.
yeah. All right, well, maybe we'll FaceTime me when we get on.
Yeah.
Well, this is really like honestly, so I want to have you back because I would like to do a second segment
And
on this.
see how well this goes. And
Yeah, I think that would be
what
really
I want
cool.
to see is how much more like contact information you get from people that find you when they're
Yes.
looking for you online
Yeah. So I'll
after you
be
implement
a
some of this
real
stuff.
live guinea pig, but I think this session has been, I mean, I'm super, super grateful. I remember talking to you about this, our pre-call, and I remember getting off being like, this is going to be a really cool,
And I hadn't finished setting it up yet. so
but it,
so I was still kind of like
yeah,
dabbling with it. And
but
and
conceptually, I think this is like such a frontier that we haven't really thought about. And it's just a really cool concept and one that I think is going to be, I mean, when we think about it, the way things are going, this is the direction where people are going to find everything, right?
yeah,
Everything is going to be
40
found.
40% of when we first talked, about 30% of people were using LLMs to search instead of Google, and now it's 40%.
It's going to be
And it's only
100%
been a month or two.
in a year.
Yeah,
Like in a
it's
year, it'll be
growing so
100%.
fast.
Yeah,
It's
it's crazy. So
Google
I
might
do
replace its search engine with Gemini at this point. Like
y- exactly. I think
there's
they
not
will.
much we can do about this at this point. It's
Exactly.
going that way.
Yeah, it's just super, super cool. So I love this. So what I'd like to do is
Okay.
I'm gonna do it and then we'll see what happens. And I'll have you back in like a month. We can talk about, or like, whatever period of time, we can talk about the success of it. And I can kind of share my experience because I do think this is going to be really cool for small businesses and a super great tool. I'm super excited that I had you on.
Thanks.
Yeah. So
Appreciate that.
just to recap at the end so people know where to find you, give this the website for the
So
product.
Belkin.marketing, BLKIN.marketing.
Okay. And if they want to find you on LinkedIn, they can easily find you on LinkedIn.
Yeah, Philip Cripe.
Philip Cripe. Philip Cripe is Cripe for those that are listening and not watching.
Yes.
Because
And Philip with one L for
Philip with
our
one L
American audience.
also. Yeah, exactly. Philip with
Yeah,
one L.
I've had that a lot.
Yeah. Well, I really
Starbucks
appreciate
actually get my name right.
yeah, exactly. I really appreciate your time. This has been super helpful. I'm really excited to use the tool and this will be a fun follow-up.
Great. Awesome.
Awesome. Thanks for coming.